Is this thing working? I think it is. It's been a day for things not working. Live entertainment. You know, we all live with regrets. They can creep up on you at the strangest times, distract you, change your mood, pull you into the dark corners of your mind. Some of you try to convince yourselves that you have none, but you're lying to yourself, continuing to hold up the illusion. They love it when you do that to yourself. Roy, what do you regret?
Lots of stuff. Don't we all? But I suppose if I had to pinpoint one thing, it'd be the thing that got me kicked out of the city, planted me here.
Got a detail?
Afraid due to
share?
Legal reasons, I cannot share those details at the moment.
Okay, I see. Daisy, how about you? Tell me what you regret.
My marriage, for one. That was a mistake, but that's ancient history. I don't like to talk about it. Going into that cave, I should have just braved my luck with the storm.
I'm starting to sense a trend. Well, let's ask Dr. Brian Brown. Do you hold any regrets?
Moving back to Providence.
Oh, really? Why is that?
It was not his choice. He was essentially forced to move back here to take care of his mother.
Right.
He would not have chosen to move back.
So that's it. Why wouldn't you have chosen? Let's say Providence was a great place. Would you have chosen it then? What is it about Providence that makes it a bad choice?
Just growing up in Providence, it was tough for Brian. He sees this place as scarred with the past, and he prefers big cities where no one knows who he is. Blank slate. Clean.
So you just want to stay hidden. Unfortunately, the three of you are not hidden. You're rather exposed, really, with openness behind you. Daisy's house, about 100 or so yards away. The three of you have found yourself there with your attention drawn to the edge of the woods about 70 feet in front of you. The sounds of an animalistic fight keep emanating from behind the darkness of the trees. There are shapes, or a large shape, maybe both, shadows from your point of view. You're only about 70 feet from the edge of the woods. It's too dark to see into, but the black of the motion, and apparently where the noises emanate from, seem to be darker, or a shade off, or something that it just allows you to sense it in there. You can kind of see it, but you feel it sense you too. You feel it get angry, frustrated perhaps, but you each realize it almost simultaneously. Then you feel something else as it seems you all sense each other as well. And it wants Daisy. Something is hindering it, but the feeling is not for long. It wants Daisy bad, and now it knows it's close. The sensation of the connection between all of you is tied to your mental health, your psyche. I don't know how you would explain it. It hurts, though. It begins to hurt more. You want now to fall to your knees until it, and only it, this thing in the woods, makes it stop. I need everybody to roll Keep It Together.
$18.
16.
Going old school today.
Old school. I like it. We'll go with it. I didn't even got... Roll 20 pulled
17.
So what was yours, Chris? Or Deputy?
16.
Okay, so everybody was over 15. Nice. That's the way you feel. It's a mental connection. I made it a little bit weird and vague because you have not had this sort of connection. Some of you think you've seen monsters. Some of you don't know. But this is a real feeling, and now it's beginning to hurt. Roy, you're the cop. What do you do?
I'll go ahead and pull out my sidearm. Daisy, there's something out there.
I didn't think it would be out here so soon. I haven't laid my traps. Yeah, there's something out there.
Mr. Brown, how are you with that there gun?
I'm fairly decent. I think we should all go to the house.
Wait, where'd Bess get to?
I think Bess went after it, right? I forgot.
It was never said. That was what Daisy thought.
Where's my dog?
There was, and there is still some fighting that is happening in those woods. But you know that it is coming this way.
Brian, if you want to go to the house, go right ahead. It's unlocked.
I feel it's the most strategic place to be. If you think otherwise, let's go with what you're thinking. I'm not a hunter.
Shit. Bess is all I got, other than Sabella, but she's been entertaining herself with her lady friend recently and forgot good old Daisy. Bess is all I got. You see where she ran off to?
No,
I could have
that's
sworn
why
she
I
went
asked
in the
you.
woods.
I didn't see where she ran off. I knew she was headed over towards the noises before Roy showed up.
What would you do if you wanted her? I mean, do you whistle? Do you call her name?
Yeah, I do that shrill whistle where I put my fingers in my mouth and it's loud. Most of Providence hears it if I do it in town.
Oh. You're that person.
So I'll do that a few times. Yeah.
Where are you hoping that she's going to be running from?
The house. If there's something in those woods, I'd rather not old Bess be stuck out there with it. And the way I'm looking at it, this thing's here for me. So, I mean, I'm old. I came here because I was tired of running. It's a shame these two nice gentlemen, well, one nice, one questionable, seem to get caught up in it.
Roy, if you want, you can roll perception to see if you noticed some things about what she said. I don't know how much you know of that, or if you just thought it was Daisy crazy talk. But she seems to, well, she seems to think this thing is after her. So, you know, I'm playing along. Did that seem odd to you, or do you want to roll and I'll tell you that it seemed odd to you? You're muted.
Yeah, I noticed that because it flashed up on my screen. You're muted. Yeah, I rolled a 17 on my perception.
So, yeah. Then now you know that. And your die has given me an excuse to have told you all that. She seems to know this thing, and it's after her.
So I believe you said at the beginning that we kind of all got that sense, or was I mistaken?
Yes, you did. But now she's kind of opened it up. I'm just playing with the whole idea that as sleepers, you may not really have any sensible ideas to what's happening.
Yeah, well, I gotcha.
And I kind of railroading you a little bit, I guess. My bad. I don't know. I want to ask her, but I thought it'd be better if you asked her. So,
all right, Daisy. What makes you think that that thing is after you? Like, I fully believe
I mean, it's
you.
right here on my property. Isn't that enough for you right there? It looked like it went around the circumference a little bit. I mean, I'm one eye, but I'm not blind. I saw the tracks. I think that we need to decide what to do instead of standing here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're clearly
I'm fine
in the
with
open.
going back to the house and buckling down, but I'm not leaving Bess here.
Well, I'm not leaving you out here with that thing, especially if it's after you.
All right, then we're in agreement for once. And I go back to calling for Bess and whistling.
roll plus
also-
soul.
Okay. Oh, God. 4.
Do you not have any D10s?
I mean, I do. I could try.
Well, your roll is 2D10, not a D20.
You gotta do what you gotta do when your computer stops working.
You right.
You'll survive. You just can't roll a 1.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. I could re-roll it if you want me to actually go by the KULT rules here.
Go for it. I'll let you re-roll since it was a 4. Although I like the 4.
That's a 1. And that's a 0. Even worse.
The 0 is a 10.
Yeah.
That's a 10? Never mind. So that's 11, and then...
Right.
whatever my
So
bonus is.
you're whistling and looking around for Bess and whistling, and it, much longer than it should have taken, you can see her little snoot poke out the open front door of your house just a little bit in the light. It's dark inside. She is obviously frightened.
How the hell?
Well,
All right.
that settles it. Let's go.
Well,
get back
let's
to the
get
house
fuck
then.
inside then.
I'll motion for Roy to go ahead, and I'll kind of take up the rear, kind of like backing up as quickly as I can, looking all around.
Listen, Daisy, you get up
Paranoid.
them steps first.
Brian, what are you doing?
Trotting like an English gentleman to the door with haste. Just bucking it.
When are you guys running to, Daisy, Roy?
I'll
I'm
start by
moving.
slowly backing up, and then I'll go a little faster. And
Yeah, I'm moving quickly, but my eyes are open. Doing my best to scan all reasonable avenues of attack.
Right. When everybody starts running, you hear Bess growl, bark, and then bolt out the door as if some protective measure, you know, something is chasing Mama, I guess. Now Mama's running. I suppose that was enough to break whatever fear might have been going on. But with an 11 roll, we don't know, do we?
I guess not. This is really unlike you, Bess.
So you have a reaction.
I mean, I'll pat my thigh and tell her to come next to me.
She's
I'm confused
flying by
behavior.
you.
She doesn't normally act out. What? Okay.
No, she's playing
Awesome.
defense.
I don't like this. This doesn't feel great. You're gearing up for something. I mean, that's my dog. That's my loyal best friend. I'm gonna make sure she's okay.
Brian, roll plus soul for me. Roy, you might as well roll 2. It's coming anyway.
$16.
And a 15 on the dot.
The dog gets halfway between you and the edge of the woods and then comes to a stop. The black Daisy's, I don't know, what would you call it? A stalker or something, perhaps? I don't know. If that's what it is, and I'm not saying that it is, has come to the edge of the woods with it and seeming to be engaged in some sort of battle with it, only it's difficult to describe. This blackness, it's almost, well, now that I think about it, it reminds me of the smoke monster or something from Lost. It is not of shape. And it is battling with a rather large dog. The dog seems to go through it and out of it. It changes sometimes as it passes through from a German Shepherd to like a black Mastiff in some painful way. That's usually when you can tell that one of those yipes comes out. That's not a pleasant experience, apparently. But continues to battle with it, and every time this blackness moves towards you, the dog interferes, and Bess seems quite afraid, but gathering her, she's starting to get some guts about her, seeing this other big dog fight it, and she knows it wants you too.
Bess, no. Right here. Come here. And I'm like, I'm keeping a bit of a distance, and I've got like hands white tight on my gun, trying to get her to listen.
She's not paying any attention. There's a lot of noise.
Whatever that is.
This creature is making these howling sounds. What you thought were a pack of dogs was just, when it comes out of the forest, is this huge, it's mixed with the dog's growls itself, is just this echoing, cacophonous sort of sound. All three of you see behind the creature what you would think would be trees is there, only it looks like somebody has projected it on a sheet perhaps and then gone and slit slices down through it so that you can see there's something else opposite on the other side. Daylight. Sort of bleeds through, fades and flitters. It's not quite so physical as I described it, but that's sort of the same appearance. Probably 20 or 30 feet in the trees behind this thing. Roy, what do you want to do?
Roy's just gonna yell at Bess. Bess, darling, back off. This ain't your fight. Let's get back inside. You gotta protect your mama inside, all right?
Roll me an influence. Daisy, you can roll one too. I held that long enough.
Influence the dog.
I was about to say, that's not gonna go well for either of us.
Yeah.
No,
It's definitely
surprisingly not
scary.
bad.
I'm a little frozen in place. I can't stop looking at it. Oh boy.
I rolled a 14 on my -2 influence other.
7
That's not bad.
-2, 5.
Daisy's day continues.
It's pretty bad.
Okay, so
I think my instinct is to just shoot at this thing. Like I feel like I'm kind of frozen in place, and I try my best to get Bess over, but like,
well,
I'm scared, and it's with Daisy and her fight or flight. It's always fight.
right. So hold on to that thought for a second, because I'm going to come back to that. Roy, with a 14, she's not really paying attention to you. So you are forced with this decision. Do you want to be stern with her and let her know that she's going to be punished if she doesn't come to you now? Because it's, you're kind of getting frustrated. Or are you going to try your hardest to be sweet and kind, Roy?
The latter. Roy's seen too many puppy mills and dog fighting households to know that being mean to dogs doesn't do nothing but make them more mean.
Very true. In the real world. She does what you say. She comes back reluctantly. Now that I know that dogs, Roy's weakness, it makes me even madder that you won't let me kill a few.
She's not bad.
I know. The dog seems to be coming back. Daisy, why don't you shoot at this thing? You said you wanted to shoot at it. Why aren't you shooting at it?
Well, Bess was there. My first desire was to get her out of the way, and if I know if I'm just gonna get her riled up. But yeah, as soon as Bess is out of the way, and I'm kind of frozen in place because there's a lot going through my mind. Like, I'm not ready. Like I've been waiting for something to happen, but I wasn't ready right now. And so there was a rare moment of fear for Daisy there. But then as soon as Bess brushes past me, I'm lifting up my gun and shooting at it with my rifle.
Where are you shooting? And what do you hope happens? Just
If it's got any semblance of a head, that.
It does not. Its biggest appendage, for lack of a better word, changes on a near constant basis. It is a big blob of black, negative space, negative light. It doesn't shine or glisten or glitter. It doesn't look like it's got scales or anything like that.
Well, wherever the darkness is thickest.
Go ahead and make me a violence roll. Brian, Deputy Roy seems to have gotten control of the dog. Daisy has now raised her weapon and is firing at this.
21.
Knowing who you are, my instinct is to make you roll
10
another
and an
keep
8.
it together. Tell me how you're feeling. See if I might choose another roll for you. Because the running apparently has stopped. Unless you kept running. Did you keep running?
No, I didn't. I'm pretty terrified. I don't necessarily see anything other than the big dog and like the swirling darkness, right? So I have no idea what that is. I'm a pretty
Well, let me ask you this.
reasonable guy.
Right?
So I'm just very uncertain of what the hell is going on. He's scared because Daisy seems to understand and is afraid of it. So she is firing at it. This is like some otherworldly bullshit, Brian. And that I'm not like understanding right now.
Well,
And it's terrifying.
Well, all right then. Go ahead and roll me another keep it together. And are you more inclined to run, or are you more curious in what this is? Is the benefit of being a professor? Is there any analytical side of you that is curious about this?
Absolutely. The fear that he's feeling is much more just like, I don't want to die, right? It's not my time. I'm not going to die here. I'm not going to die in Providence. There's no way in hell I'm going to die here. But the analytical side, the psychological side of him wants to know what the hell is going on, but would rather live than find out.
The strain of all of this is too much for your mind to handle. I like it when I get to read that line. That fear and the head pain continues for the both of you. If I don't, I forgot to continue to remind you of that. It's not like crippling or anything, but it's growing to be, sort of like that migraine in the back of your head that, in another 30 minutes or so is going to knock you on your ass. And you all know that this thing can make that go away, combined with Brian's curiosity and the fact that he just lost to stability. He starts walking towards it. Brian, you're headed towards the black thing, the stalker, hoping that it will take this pain away. That will probably make it go away. There's the thing behind it. You'll be able to see it closer. And the logical sense is obviously this dog, right? This large, monstrous dog is messing with it. You don't know what this thing is about Daisy, but that's just one factor compared to all of these others that make you inclined to think that you can approach this. Daisy, you're firing into the thing, doesn't do anything, and you see Brian walking towards it. Roy, you're going to get about a 3 or 4 second delay because you're still kind of coaxing the dog, but the dog finally gets to you. It's about that time that Daisy starts firing. Daisy gets... How many shots do you take, Daisy?
I say I take at least 3 in my own little bit of panic, and then I see it's not doing anything. I'm not shooting at the large dog. The large dog seems to be, intimidating, trying to fight this thing off.
All right.
But I see that it's not really getting anywhere.
You don't see any damage, any physical damage. There's no physical reaction. There's no blood. There's no hole. It does make noise. It does scream, for a lack of a better word, whatever this noise is that it's making, this group of noises that it's making. If that's the case, then I'm unloading into that. Right. But nothing changes.
If it is getting affected, yeah.
Yeah, you empty it out. Roy, what do you do?
If I've got Bess over by me, but I see Brian starting to walk to it, I'm gonna snap at him, because I definitely have way more patience with dogs than with people.
Right.
Brown, what the fuck are you doing? And I'll snatch at his collar if he gets close enough for me to.
I just have to figure out what the hell it is.
Give me an act under pressure, Roy.
You seem like you have a thought, Curtis.
I lower my rifle and scramble around to try to find the bullets in my jacket, but I totally took my jacket off to put it over the dead bodies that we failed to hide. And so I'm just like, shit, and turn around and watch this. I'm very confused as to why Brian is not going into the house.
Yeah, I rolled a 7.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he continues to walk.
It was too good to be true.
And the large dog has taken notice and has sort of started to back up and position itself between Brian and the thing. The stalker, the smoke monster. It's not even smoke. You can see depth and texture with smoke. Daisy, you continue to fire
Daisy,
through. It looks like it has damage.
Grab Brown or grab Bess. I don't care which.
Is Brian still walking towards it then?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna... What are you doing? I kind of yell at him, and if he doesn't move, I'm gonna punch him in the face. It's desperate times, call for desperate measures. Stop being an idiot.
No, unfortunately, because of his wonderful keep it together roll of a 9, I get to take him over for a moment. And it would require you to get physical with him, so a punch is what you've decided to do?
Yeah.
Go ahead and roll for violence.
I hold my rifle in one hand, all empty, and I reel my fist back when he refuses to listen to me.
Yeah, well, he's walking away from you, so you're going to have to kind of like go after him from behind, I suppose.
A 7 and an 8 plus 3, so 18.
That's a success. So, tell me how take him down.
If I was in front of him, I would punch him in the face. If I'm behind him, I'm gonna hit him with the butt of my rifle.
Ooh.
He'll thank me for it later.
Yeah, Brian, you don't get to avoid the harm, but you can roll endure injury, and then I'll let go of you.
Did you roll fantastically?
The
good news is when it's less than a 9, you get to pick. And
they're all bad options.
Yeah, they're all bad options. But I mean, there's an obvious one.
One of those
course.
options is to just die.
Yeah, you could just like say, I'm tired of this shit right now.
Oh shit, Daisy just killed Brian.
We'll worry about it later.
What a story. Daisy just
That's
okay,
how it
I'm
happened,
not
folks.
trying to kill him.
snapped
I'm just trying to
Brian's-
knock some sense
just-
into him
He's got this soft spot, right?
from laying down too much as a baby.
just severs his spinal cord.
Yeah. So you can be knocked out and take a serious wound. You can get a critical wound and continue to act. Yeah, or you can cash out.
No.
I will just. It was the butt of the
I
gun,
won't die.
right?
Yeah.
So he's knocked out.
Yeah.
He's knocked out.
See, that's it. I knew that's where it was going.
Daisy just had too much.
Well, there's a moment where I'm like, well, shit, that was harder than I intended. Roy, and as Brian crumples to the ground, I frantically look over at him. There's a shed over there. I got gasoline. We can set it on fire. I don't know. It's getting affected by this. It's smoke. It's darkness, and I'm backing up a little bit more. And I kind of try to feebly grab Brian's foot to drag him back with me, but I'm probably not that strong because he's a grown man.
I will let you pull Brian without a roll, but I need you to roll willpower. It's not really a keep it together. It's more of an avoid harm, but it's not physical harm. It's mental harm.
4, 5, and I know my willpower is +2, so 11.
So the pain in your head grows quickly, tenfold. So much that you have to stop with Brian and stand up and squint your eyes or hold your head or do however it is that Daisy reacts when she, you ever had one of those like ice pick headaches that's just kind of like hits you real hard for just a few seconds and then goes away? Or is that just what's been affecting me lately? So it like makes you just want to like rip your eyeballs out. You can kind of start to get control of yourself. You're going to lose a stability. What do? You know what it just attacked you. You felt it, you knew it. You all can feel there's this energy that is emanating from this thing, and that's what all of you are feeling, and it is just gathering all of the other energy that is emanating from all of you, and it seems to be in this big swirling mix. That's my description for it. You can't make that kind of sense out of it, but so the players understand what's happening to them.
Yeah, a shiver just goes through my entire body, and I just kind of get like really stiff and like smack myself on the head a little bit, like snap out of it. But yeah, I'll try to drag Brian back a little bit.
Roy, what are you doing?
There's a lot happening.
Listen, Daisy, I ain't staying out here any longer than any of us have to. Let's just get Brown inside, get Bess inside, and hunker down. And I'll run over and like tug on his arm or whatever if we have to carry him like a hammock or whatever. That's fine. Let's just get him inside.
Carry him like a dead body.
I give him a bit of glare because setting the thing on fire would have been really cool, but that sounds like a logical idea, I suppose. And so I'll just silently go along with it and help him drag Brian's poor unconscious body.
You got about 50 feet or so left. You're dragging them. The battle behind you still goes. This dog and this thing. You don't know what kind of torture this dog is taking. You don't see blood, but you can tell that this big thing is hurting it. There are other things that are peering through those slits, those slices or tears, rips in the fabric of your reality behind you. Behind it, not you. Behind the scene. Every time you look up to see if it is getting any closer to you, and it has gotten closer to you, this dog still continues to position itself in some defensive posture as if it's really trying to protect you. There are other dogs that seem to be gathering up just on the other side of those tears. But they don't feel threatening. The sense you get from them is protection. If this doesn't change anybody's mind, you drag Brian up to the porch. The big dog is getting hurt. Once you get inside, what do you do?
I don't lock all of the locks because that's quite a few, but I definitely lock the heavier deadbolt, chain it up, just leave Brian wherever in the middle of the living room, kind of at the bottom of the stairs, and post up at a window to watch.
Roy, what do you do?
Just look at where Daisy leaves Brian for a second. And I considered like throwing him on the couch or something, but I'm like, hey, he'll be fine. And I get over to a window, see what I can see also. If I can get the window open, I might try to get it just a little bit so that I could get the barrel of my gun out and take a pot shot if I needed to.
I did make it a detail that I bar my windows.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah. But I also feel like there would be some kind of way to shoot out from them. Like
Oh, you can shoot between bars.
Well, yeah.
It's just getting the window up behind the bar.
Right. Well,
There's a little
from the inside, the bars are on the
Jimmy,
outside,
right?
right?
horizontally.
Okay. I have never actually seen barred windows. T-Dorf's going to get me on that one, but there's a way. They're also barred.
Yeah, you should be able to open it up from the inside. If the barred windows are keep people from going in. So I don't see any problem with that. What about you, Brian? What are you doing? Besides, you're in a state of, mentalness, but tell me, what are you thinking? What are you hoping happens?
I'm still unconscious, correct?
That's right. They knocked you out, didn't they? And just flopped you down. All right. Yeah, forget I asked. I thought maybe...
I'm seeing sugar plum fairies, man.
Let me ask you then, since you are out. What is the darkest, scariest thing that Brian has ever seen, whether it's supernatural or not, in Providence? She just ran from my question, didn't she? She knew it was coming.
In Providence?
Yeah.
The dark...
It could be something that you've experienced since we've been doing this, or it could be something from Brian's history. What scares you the most? What real thing that you've witnessed frightens you in Providence? Even if it's just a horrible experience.
It was his freshman year in high school. The bell had just rung for the end of the day, and Brian was making his way around a corner in the corridor or the hallway, trying to get out of the building. When a couple of kids, a couple years older, stronger, more athletic kids grab him and pull him into the bathroom. They told him to put his fists up, that they were going to fight. They made Brian fight. If he didn't, they'd just kick his ass harder. They like to go for the throat first. Someone who gets punched in the throat doesn't know how to fight back. Their concentration is on their next breath. And then after enough punches, they'd leave him bleeding on the floor.
That's frightening. I'm going to leave you in your dream in that bathroom. That's where you are right now. Roy, you get to the window, you can see and still hear the commotion. You can still see a little bit of the tears from your vantage point. You can see that they flutter some or flicker, perhaps. It's quite amazing, really. You've never seen anything like it. It looks like there's another world right on the other side of it. Daylight, even. Firing at this thing results in the same counterattack. So I need you to roll willpower. Unless you have a debatable argument for something else. Like I said, it's a mental attack, and I'm not quite schooled in those skill sets. I don't think there's any rules about it, but...
No, it's a 12.
Knowing the KULT book, it would just say, go for it. You are also attacked with the same pain. And I want to ask Roy the same question. What scares Roy the most about Providence? Why do you hate it so much? What scares you? What's that something deep down that you don't even really want to confront? If you can even get yourself to admit it.
Remaining static. This is where I'm stuck. This is where I'm doomed to repeat the same patrol, arrest the same methed out pieces of shit from the fucking trailer park, meeting nice folk that just fall into the depravity of this small, insignificant town and being stuck here, forced to watch it all over and over and over until I take my dying breath.
Looking out the window.
Because of one fucking mistake.
Right. Sorry. You get a few shots. You have moments of feel good. It seems to maybe be dissipating. Maybe it's just darting around. Maybe you catch a glimpse of it over there. You really can't make sense of it. Then that pain hits. And you grab your head and kind of close your eyes for a second and try to force this pain out of your head, make it go away. And when you open your eyes, it's takes a moment to adjust. It's not what you see, rather, but the smell that you recognize first. And you are sitting in what looks to be some old ratty, like a lazy boy, that fabric probably from the 70s that's more suitable to carpet these days than it would be to upholster furniture with. And you hear this wheezing sound and the sound of an oxygen tank and a breathing machine. And as your eyes focus in this very dim light, you see that you are in that home of the man with the cat. He still has a cat, or it's the cat has returned, perhaps, but he has the little silver tabby on his lap. It's purring. He pets it. You can tell it's him. It's still the oxygen tank and the hoses and all of that kind of stuff, but he's not skinny. Far from it. And it's when one of the 3 arms on his side come out that pets the cat. And he gives you that smile and he tells you, I told you you'd want to make a deal. And that's why we're leaving you. Daisy. You don't know what's going on with these guys. You are worried about this thing that has chased you here. If it is I'm certain you're 100% certain that that's what it is, although I'm not going to commit. You don't get the option of relying on your friends at this moment. I don't think Daisy would. I don't know that she would want to bring them in. I'm curious what your plans are and what you're afraid is going to happen.
As far as I'm concerned, I'm not entirely sure what it is. Have my superstitions. I forgot a lot. At this point, I'm convinced that what is after me is just an amalgamation of the souls of the damned from the war, just one big ghost. It's not the wildest thing Daisy has said before. She's a believer in Bigfoot and Nessie and all that. But that's the only way she can make sense of what this is in her mind, is that ghosts are real, and that's what this is. That the dog tags around her neck that suddenly feel so heavy from the war, they've come after her for vengeance in a way that spirits do, that she wasn't able to protect them. Somehow it twists into that. So she's not quite sure what to do. I mean, in one hand, she says that she's ready for it to get her. She's ready to meet her fate, but on the other, she's going to go down fighting. Like, she doesn't necessarily want to die. And she doesn't want anyone else getting caught up in her mess. And she got close to Sabella because Sabella's interested in the supernatural, and ghosts kind of go hand in hand with that. She doesn't want it to get out. That's the scariest thing for her, is whatever this is, if she fails, it's going to go all over Providence. It's going to find Sabella. So she wants to somehow contain it, and right now, staring at it, like, can't figure out how. What are you wanting me to choose?
I don't know. What would Daisy do? You're not just gonna stand there and freeze up, are you?
I mean, for now, I'm gonna watch it. There's that dog out there that's fighting. There's the other dogs behind it.
Right.
For now, I am gonna wait a little bit, and I mean, the only thing I could think of to do is to.
It's all right.
Either call up Sabella and try to get her her insight really quickly, or set it on fire.
Right. What are you afraid might happen?
I do wish Sabella was here.
Let's go to that part.
I'm afraid I'll fail.
Well, what would that happen? What would happen if you failed?
That I won't be enough to feed it or whatever it wants from me. That it'll go after the few people I care about if I don't stop it. But I don't know how to stop it. And that comes with an immense amount of anger.
Why does it want you,
I'm more worried
Daisy?
about other people than I am about myself. Because I got away. That's all I can think of.
Make a perception roll and observe your situation.
I got an 8 and an 8. Wow. And I believe my perception is -1. It's 15.
Cool. You get to ask
Unless
2
you
questions.
See otherwise.
No. There's just the suggestions. Oh, you don't have roll 20 up, so you can't see it. Just like, what's my best way through
No,
it? What's the biggest threat? What can I use? So this is you get to ask for a hint
Okay.
of some sort. What's being hidden? What seems
yeah,
strange?
what is my best way through this?
The thing that seems the safest to you, although you absolutely have no idea how you would get there, is that really pretty sunny place on the other side with all of those dogs that look like they're waiting in some sort of protective fashion for you or maybe the other dog, but it seems like there's something good over there. Certainly is different in sensation than this thing that is probing you. And that feeling from the stalker is as if it is circling your house, all the still while fighting with the dog. And you can still see it come by once in a while, how this dog continues to battle this thing. Is something else.
So it moves away from the light. Oh my god, my cat is going insane. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
it like moves around, like away from the light at times. Because if I can observe a pattern to it.
No, it doesn't. That's just your senses. You see wisps of it. You don't really, I mean, every once in a while you'll see it pop up, but it'll be fighting and then it'll go out of your peripheral and you can't see it. But it seems you can feel it. This whole time you sense it. All of you would have until I changed your scene. So you can sense it and it's prodding at your mind. You know it wants you. It's begging you to come out. It can make all of this stop for you. All of the pain. It won't hurt the town. It won't hurt Sabella. That's what it tells you. You can ask another question.
Okay. What are my examples again?
What seems strange? What's being hidden? What should I be on the lookout for? What can I use to my advantage? What currently poses the biggest threat? Or what's my best way through this?
Okay.
Although we kind of answered that.
What can I use to my advantage?
That's a good question. Well, let me ask you this. Is Daisy feeling like she can take this thing on, or is she thinking she needs to find a way out? It's just a matter of time before this thing can get in your house, I would assume. It certainly seems to be intent on getting you. The only thing that seems to stop it, and that frustration that you sense from it, is because it is battling with this dog. It may be that dog that is your best advantage.
I don't think I can take it on now. I think if I was able to learn more about it and through more studying with Sabella, I've been visiting her bookshop and looking through her books, but I haven't actually seen this thing in a while. I've just had this ever presence. So no, I'm not confident that I can take it on. Not right now. Not without more knowledge. I'm I'm brash, but I know I'm in over my head.
Oh, that's good.
So it wants me. It's telling me that if I go to it, it won't.
Mm-hmm. I have a better understanding of your state of mind. You don't have to decide. Let me ask you this. Are you considering it? Would Daisy sacrifice herself to this thing?
I mean, she'd rather fight it.
Daisy.
So if it comes down to the wire and she's going to this thing.
When I ask you a question, I want it from your soul. What does your soul want to do?
It wants to kill it.
Did I already make you roll a willpower roll? Not yet.
At one point. I can roll another one.
During the first attack you did. Right. Roll me another one.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, Jesus. I was getting stressed out. Okay, beautiful. That was a 1. Okay, I got 6 plus 2. There's an 8 for you. Let me just hand that to you on a platter with like some pancake.
That's awesome.
Wait, was Curtis a pancakes or a waffle guy?
I am whatever I need to be. I prefer crepes with bananas.
Waffle gang.
Daisy, this is what happens. It influences you, perhaps. Maybe it's the weakness in your will to be... I don't know. I'm finding some fear inside of Daisy sometimes that she's kind of afraid to take a step. I'm curious to get to the bottom of that. It knows it too. You realize it's been this little voice in the back of your mind this whole time that's been toying with you about what you can and cannot do. Will that succeed? Will that not succeed? Until the frustration and the energy in you mounts. And when you take a look around the house, you see that Bess is in a safe spot. Roy is over there on alert, peering through a window. Brian asleep on the couch. You turn and look out the window, and it is there, face to face. Only it doesn't have a face, but you know it. You're familiar with it. You've met before. Just this feeling. And then you leap into it. And your world goes black. Maybe you leapt. Maybe it pulled you. You were face to face. And that's where we're going to leave you. In the darkness. And we're going to go to break. Poor Olivia, she's been waiting this whole time. That took a little bit longer than I anticipated, but we started late anyways, so not too bad after all. It's all right, though. Live entertainment, that's the way it goes. So give us about 10, 15 or so to reorganize the stage, and we will be right back. And I jumped. Say hi for me, Eleanor, just so I know I've got you on sound.
Hello.
Hey, all right. You never know. These days, the way the day has been, you'd think it was a Monday. I tell you, it's been happening for everybody. So let me get the mood right. Eleanor, you are riding shotgun again with good old Uncle Ray. Is it Ray? It is Ray, right? Now I'm suddenly questioning myself if I have the right name or not.
It is Ray.
Right. See, I did switches, buttons,
difference.
knobs, dials. Name? Okay, focus, Curtis. Here we go. Uncle Ray's driving the pickup. You are, that doesn't make sense. Why did I write that? And you are across the road and starting to drive up the hill when you hear the sound of an animal in pain. And you get closer to it, and you notice off in the distance, just 50 feet from the road or so, Angel, a horse, the horse that has been on the farm for over a decade, is lying on her side. And as you get closer, your Uncle Ray, he hears it too. You're both in tune. Stops, you get out, I assume. Would you get out? If I do something, if I do something that you wouldn't do, feel free to slap me on the hand. Well, she's lying on her side. You're getting closer. You can hear it. But when you get closer, you see that her front shoulder is sticking out from beneath her skin. She's taken a bad fall or something. Her breathing is heavy. Uncle Ray says, get the rifle out of the truck. I'm going to go back and get the tractor. What do you do?
I take a long look at Angel, this horse, and turn around slowly, walk back to the truck, get the rifle from the back, and just look at her, look at it back at Uncle Ray, and just waiting for his next orders.
Do you know what he wants you to do?
I know exactly what he wants me to do. I don't want to do it. Do not at all.
Let me ask you this. Are you going to make any sort of overt or subvert action, maybe is even a better word? Are you going to do any of those subtle tricks that youths know to sort of give him the hint that you're uncomfortable with this?
I think it's pretty obvious that I am. I'm holding the rifle pretty close to me. It's like kind of already trembling a little bit. Not looking at him in the eye now, just staring at this horse, staring at her injury. Drumming my fingers against the barrel.
Make me a charisma roll. Let's see if you can influence him.
An 11.
He looks at you and says, "What, you want me to do it? We've been through this before. Is this your first time?"
This is my first time. This would be my first time putting down a horse. I've watched I mean, we've had multiple horses on the farm throughout the course of my life. So I've seen horses break their legs. I've seen my Uncle Ray shoot them or take them to the vet, whatever was needed. So I am no stranger to this process, but I've never been the one to pull the trigger.
Well, Uncle Ray knows this. But this is Heartland. So this is one of those tough love situations where Uncle Ray sort of gives you that look. Like, right? Like, well, I know you've watched everybody jump off the cliff before you, but now it's your turn. And he just sort of gives you his little wink and a smile, and it's like, well, you know, it's going to take me a little while to go back and get that tractor, so, you know, you just get square with it. You'll be all right. You're a Hauser. And he turns and heads back to the truck.
I wait until the truck is no longer in sight and then just set the gun down on the ground. Don't want to look at it. Don't want to interact with it at all. And I sit down, I kneel down next to the horse and just start petting her neck. And I'm not crying yet, but they're definitely, I definitely have some watery eyes. And I'm just whispering to her, it's gonna be okay. Trying to muster up the courage to pull the trigger in her pain.
You think you can do it?
I have to do it.
What does Eleanor think about in relationship to that? What you just said, it's expected of you. What do you mean?
I mean,
I know what that means,
Uncle
but
Ray, yeah, it's like Uncle Ray said though. I'm a Hauser. I am expected to be proper. I'm expected to be able to do shit like this, be tough, be somebody that I'm really not, but I do it anyway because I feel I do love my family. I really do, but I do feel kind of obligated because my aunt and uncle took me in and raised me as their own when my mother couldn't and my father was gone. So I feel like I have to make them proud and doing what they want, doing what is expected of me as a Hauser, as Eleanor Hauser, I will get their approval.
How strong is that sense of responsibility to that feeling? Does that make sense? How strong is that whole thing that you just described compared to your own self-will to do what Eleanor wants to do, to be whatever Eleanor wants to be? Maybe it's not a Hauser. I don't know. Maybe, maybe Eleanor wants to dance.
Dancing would be fun. Could be fun. I would say pretty strong, honestly, because that's what I know, and I feel if I lost my family or lost the status of being a Hauser, I don't know who I would be. And there's so many possibilities, but that's also very scary. Like, I've only known this lifestyle, this path, and to deviate from that, though I long to, though I think that's I need to be my own person and make my own way in the world, it's terrifying.
Make me a roll plus soul to see through the illusion and give yourself a +1 to that. That's right. Curtis gave an advantage. I think that was the first time. I liked that answer.
What? It's a 0. So.
Oh, that's not right. Hang on. You got a 10 plus 1.
I don't know.
That's an 11. And then you got a +1 on top of it. So, yeah, that roll 20 die roller gets wonky sometimes.
Oh.
It doesn't get you to 15 though.
I have brain.
Well, wait a minute. What is your soul? Do you have a plus on your soul? Do you have a plus on your soul, Olivia?
No, it's 0.
Okay. So is mine. Okay. Whose voice comforts you the most? Mary Ellen's? Which female voice in the Hauser family has comforted you the most in your lifetime?
Honestly, I want to
even if they're not alive. Your mom?
No. Yeah, my answer's still the same. My mom.
You hear your mom's voice. Is this something that you can do? She asks.
Yes. Yes. I think so.
You don't hear any more words from her. Those words gave you some comfort, gave you the comfort enough to tell her you think you can do it. But you can feel yourself stand up, pull the rifle up, check the safety, check the chamber. I'm not a gun person, so I might do something out of order. If you're out there keeping score, I don't want an email. You're checking the gun, doing all the things that you need to do to make sure that it's right. Going through that list in your head that you got when you learned to shoot guns from Uncle Ray or whoever it was that taught you. And you approach Angel and level the rifle. And there's a moment when it's almost as if you get comforted by this sensation of your mother, which, by the way, is still, that is what is making you do this. You feel yourself doing this because of this spirit. That's kind of what I meant when I said you no longer hear her voice, but you can, she's still there. The presence, that comforting feeling is still there. It feels almost multiplied. You get the sensation that perhaps maybe your mother's not alone. But there's a whole lot of things happening in this moment, and you do see yourself getting ready to put this beast out of its misery. So let me ask you this. Now that you know, Eleanor, that you've lost perhaps some semblance of control as your mother seems to be helping you accomplish this task, are you the type to let your mother sort of finish the job for you and close your eyes at the last second? Or, I don't know, I suppose there's some sense of honor of actually pulling the trigger of your own free will. I'm kind of trying to get at your thoughts on this moment. before the trigger gets squeezed? Is it going to
Yeah.
be you, or is it your mother that's going to squeeze it?
Definitely me. I'm going to, steel myself for the devastation that I'm going to feel after once I do it. But I definitely will look that horse in the eye as I pull that trigger.
I want you to make me an act under pressure roll.
Cool. 13. Kind of cool.
The gun sounds loud. Louder than you expected it. For a moment, you feel the sensation of that presence from your mother fade. And you're kind of left sort of empty and in shock for just half a second. The horse almost sort of gave you permission at the end. There was no desperate look in its eyes. It knew what you were doing and why you were doing it. The sound of that gun seems to echo for an eternity. And then you hear this tearing sound. And when you have stopped looking at Angel's eyes, which she shuts of her own at the moment, making that as pleasant as possible, and take in the surrounding around you, the entirety of the Hauser Ranch, this land that you would have seen around you, the trees and the fields, the house that's about a half a mile that direction, you know, were it not for hills and landscapes and the trees, you could probably see it from here. Today you can. The landscape, the trees are blasted and gone. The ground is a burnt hellscape of nothingness. The terrain seems the same hills are there, and you see off in the distance where the Hauser house would be, a house. It looks similar to the house that you are familiar with, only smaller. It's almost as if you took your house and whittled all of it from the outside down to that center room that was right next to the kitchen. That would be what you see in front of you. What do you do?
Fuck.
Internally or externally?
Internally, I'm panicking. Internally, I'm just like, what the heck is going on? Why am I seeing this? What? Because I'm just still ringing from like the emotional trauma of shooting this horse that I've spent half my life with, and now seeing this. I was panicking a little bit, yeah, for sure. Start walking towards the house.
Well, hang on a second. I'll let you take in the whole. I can sense that you don't, as would I, not know what the hell to do. Just to be clear, the ground is not dry and cracked. There's no lava or anything like that. It does sort of the atmosphere. Maybe if I was filming this, I would give it sort of a little bit of an orangish tinge, perhaps. The grass is there, but it's dead. It looks like maybe it had gone through one of those where they burn off the fields, like it's black underneath. but some of the grass had grown up past the burnt, but is already dead on top of it. The horse, there's something there where the horse is, or was. It looks kind of like a horse, only it is decayed, bloated, as if you had maybe shot it a week ago. It almost doesn't look like Angel. Kind of the same color, but there's way too much blood. The head looks like it's been smashed, not shot. And I want you to roll me Keep It Together.
Six. Cool.
Well, great, because this is what happens. And then I'll get your input, and then I'll tell you what happens after that. And then that's probably going to be about as much as Eleanor can take on tonight, because as you are starting to lose it over the sight of Angel, how, what, why, what's going on, you know, the whole thing, you hear coming some footsteps, and when you turn, you see Uncle Ray, only it's not quite Uncle Ray. He's older. He's more wrinkled, weathered, a little skinnier perhaps. His clothes look ragged in a sense. I mean, the houses are pretty well off, and Uncle Ray, you know, even when he goes out to like do chores, you know, he's got like on a blue button up, you know, Oxford kind of shirt, and always tends to look pretty nice. He's not unfamiliar with wearing khakis into town or something. He's not a jeans only kind of guy. And this man who looks like Uncle Ray, I use Roy and Ray interchangeably, so if I say Roy, is looking at you as if he loves you. As he's giving you those are Ray's eyes. So you got that done. Get close to dinner time. What? You look like you've seen a ghost. What's going through your mind, Eleanor?
A lot of things. What exactly am I seeing? Like, he sounds normal. He sounds like he just came back, probably with the tractor. Like, the day has not passed, but I am seeing something completely different. So, just in a kind of a state of shock.
Do you think it's all in your head?
Not. Kind of, yes. It has to be, right? Like, this doesn't happen.
I don't
right?
know. What would Eleanor do? I mean,
like, hallucinate.
Yeah, break it down.
I don't know. It's like, I'm trying to think what Eleanor would do. Yeah, I would ask my Uncle Ray, are you feeling okay? You look tired. Like, maybe I don't trying to make sense of what is happening without.
Right. But you're playing along, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely playing along.
Would you play along to the point of walking back to the house with him?
Oh God, I don't. Can I be like 3 paces behind? Like, slowly? Do I? Yeah. Pick up the rifle.
Well, yeah, no, I'm curious because that's what he's going to do.
Yeah.
It's going to be this. He's going to, yep, good job. All right. Well, Mary Ellen's got dinner cooking down there, and I ain't eaten in 3 days, so we got to get. I'm looking forward to this one.
What? You haven't eaten in 3 days? What?
You know that, boy. It's been 1.5 for you. You got to be about starving to death.
What?
What?
What do you mean 1.5 days? I ate breakfast this morning. What are you talking
You ate
about?
breakfast this morning? What'd you have for breakfast this morning? I ain't seen breakfast. Breakfast? Ain't nobody had breakfast around here. What are you talking about, breakfast? Where'd you even hear the word breakfast?
I feel like breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Everyone has heard about breakfast.
Girl, you're crazy.
You eat it every morning.
Doing chores doesn't make you wacky. Come on, let's go eat. I'm starving. Talking like a fool.
Yeah, follow him, have the rifle in my hands, couple of steps behind. Following.
You walk.
That's a good idea.
The house is about, it's a quarter of a mile. It takes you 10, 15 minutes of walking. You can hear him mumbling something under his breath. You can't make it out. Every once in a while, he'll look back at you and shake his head and roll his eyes. And then he'll say something else. Go, mumble, mumble, mumble. And you're about 100 yards. Yeah, 50, not even that. 100, we'll say 100 feet from the house. And it makes perfect sense to you now, the way this house looks, if Eleanor is so inclined as to be that type of person. I realize some people are not mechanically, they don't see things like this, but you can see how this house looks just like the Hauser house, except the Hauser house, the ranch house that you live in, looks like it's had a whole bunch of stuff added on to that center part. But you can, it just looks almost clear as day if you took these walls down, what the inside of their house probably looks like as far as shape and size. But he stops, causing you to, in your defensive nature, I imagine, sort of have to make a sudden, startling stop. And he spins around on you pretty quick.
No.
And he doesn't do anything, but he's got his finger up. You ain't from here, are you?
What do you mean? I am from here. Not from here, but I am.
How old are you?
24.
24. 24. Did you go to the meeting yet?
No, what meeting? Meeting? What kind of meeting?
He just puts his head down, curses, shakes, spits. And that's where we're going to fade out on your scene, Eleanor.
No.
I don't know what he might have been talking about.
Oh.
I know we didn't get to go as long with you as the others. They took so long. We did all right, I guess. Not too bad. It's later for you there. I know that. You were awesome. Thank you, Eleanor. So, your story. I get to play with your story more than I get to play with the others. So Duke's gonna hate me. He's gonna be like, "What did you do?" I told him in this method, Curtis can run a game off the rails, and I like it. Oh yes. No, I know what you're interested in, and I'm gonna get you there, but I'm gonna take you through a rough ride to get there. All right, I'm going to switch scenes. You'll be clear. I'm going to talk to these folks out here in the audience while the credits roll real quick, and I'll be right back with you. For those of you out there, a huge thanks to those fantastic players, man, for joining me tonight on an awesome job telling their stories of Heartland. Jaylee, Austin, and Chris, and Olivia with the big solo finish. Very well done, in spite of all of our technical hang-ups tonight. And thank you, the audience. If you're watching live tonight or later on demand, your support is greatly appreciated. And we will keep working hard to bring you these great stories because we love doing it and you make it possible. Thanks to Helm Guest for such an amazing game. Start playing KULT. Go to KULTDivinityLost.com for free stuff. Helm Guest provides the opportunity, but it's my team at TTRP Theater that cries, bleeds, and keeps it together to put the life into our worlds. So get more information on how you can be more support, more stuff, be a part of the team, ttrptheater.com, or go get on !Discord in Twitch chat and get on Twitch. We are all on this long, strange trip, so be kind to each other. Do it for the director. Good night, sweet dreams, and we love you. Maybe. Nah, we do.